Hi, phonics professors. Welcome to Phonics Workshop. You have been working on applying those phonics terms into your reading and into your writing. That might be where it's getting tricky. Spelling words can be really, really tricky. Even I have trouble with it still. Yeah, especially when it comes to some words. Guess what? Every grown-up has a couple of words, maybe up to 10, that are really tricky for them, that every time they get to one of those words, they get this feeling of, yeah, that happens to everybody. But don't despair. There are some things we can do to really get those tricky words spelled correctly and to help us remember how to spell them every time we try to. So first, what I want to do is I want to show you what some of these words might be for second graders like you. These are some of the words that might be tricky for you. I bet you can read them, no problem. Let's try it together. Said, first, they, friend, where, girl, right? No problem, you can read those, but it's spelling where it gets hard. Some of these might be tricky for you, but you might have other words that are tricky for you. So if these do feel like oh yeah, I know how to spell those in a snap, you might start to think of other words that are really hard, like could, or restaurant, or definitely, or would. Any of those words might be tricky for you to spell also. So when we're trying to get these words that are extra hard spelled correctly, there are some steps that we can follow. The first thing we have to do is we have to try to write the word. And as we're writing the word, one thing that we really want to make sure we do is notice where we slow down as we're writing it. So watch me try that. So I'm going to try the first word on the list. Okay, so now I'm going to cover the list over. I'm going to turn it over, make sure I can't see the word, and I'm going to try to spell it. And I want to really notice where I slow down. Okay, so I want to try to write the word said. So, and I'm going to notice where I slow down. So said, that one's easy. It's making the S sound, but I can't. Oh, okay, I think it's straight. So the sound is making, and then said, yep. Yeah. Did you notice where I slowed down? And do you notice, like, it doesn't look quite right? Let's check it. Yeah, look at that. When I check it, it doesn't have an E there. It has an AI. So let me try writing it correct. Let me check it. Okay, AI. All right, so I think about which part. I'm just going to do a little line through that. Now, the second thing I have to do is really think about which part is the hard part. So which part is the hard part in this word said? So I slowed down when I got to the middle, and that's the part that I got wrong. So I'm going to circle that part. Okay, so that's the part that I got wrong. So now what I want to do is I really want to think about, why is that part so hard for me? Why is that part so hard for me? So it's really hard because usually when you make the eh sound, it's represented by the letter E, E. But in this word, it's represented by AI. And usually AI makes like a sound, like wait, wait. Right, but here, or aim, yeah. But here it makes an sound. So I might just write like, makes that sound, like, and then I'm gonna just draw a little picture of an egg, like an egg. So that's really why that part is hard. Yeah, and then let me try to use some phonics professor words, right? So it's like a vowel team that sounds like a short vowel. Yeah, did you see how I did that? It's like a vowel team that sounds like a short vowel. I'm just going to make a note of that. Vowel team that sounds like the short vowel E. And E is not even in that at all. Like E, right? Or E. Look at that, like egg. Huh. Yeah, that really helped me when I was trying to figure out how to write that word. Okay, do you see what I did to really try to figure out why that word is hard for me to spell, right? And now that I figured that out, I can really start to remember that, oh, right, when I try to write said, it's not an it's not an E sound, it's not the letter E that makes that it's actually AI that's making that right? And that's actually kind of confusing, and it's good for me to remember that AI is making the S sound in that word. And so I've got to remember that when I'm trying to write it. And that AI isn't making its normal sound there. Yeah. So what we can do when we're trying to tackle a word is try to write it or try to spell it. Really notice where you slow down, right? And then that's going to help you know which is the hard part. Which part is the hard part? And you might circle that part so you can study it. Then you want to think about, why is that part so hard? You might say something like, usually the part of the letter makes this sound, but in this word, it does this. And try to use some phonics professor words when you're talking about that part, like silent E or digraph or R controlled or vowel team or short vowel, long vowel. All of those things can help you when you're trying to tackle one of those really tricky words. Will you go off and try this right now? You can choose one of your own tricky words, or you can choose one of the ones from this list. Once you've got your word, okay, I'm going to turn it down now. I'm going to put it away. And now try out our steps for tackling a tricky word. So write it, notice where you slow down, think which is the hard part, and really try to say why it's the hard part. All right, you can keep this video paused right here on this chart to help you remember the steps, because you can do it for more than one word. Okay, off you go.